Ave Dominus New back again, and we're going to get into it quick this time. I did the review for the Primarch novel, Fulgrim, the Palatine Pheonix. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Otherwise, Kurz is going to flay us, and I like my skin. And I'm sure he does too. I read this book not because I wanted to. Well, I did want to because I like Fulgrim. But I got a comment the other day and made a video about it. And I decided that maybe I didn't know enough about Fulgrim. Maybe I needed to check out his Primarch novel, and so I could get more information. And I'll tell you this right now. This Primarch novel didn't change anything about how I viewed Fulgrim. So basically, the Palatine Pheonix is about Fulgrim and is during the Great Crusade, and it's still in sort of its early days. The Emperor's children are just now starting to gain their numbers back, and Fulgrim is bringing his first planet into compliance without any of his brothers looking over his shoulder. So at this point, he decides he wants to do it in his own way, so to prove his superiority and prove that he deserves to be amongst the ranks of the Primarchs. So he decides to just bring 6 men, technically 7, or 8 if you count him, or 9 if you count the Prime Iterator, the Grand Iterator, the Iterator. My favorite thing about Fulgrim in the book is actually just that Fulgrim's actually pretty chill. Fulgrim's personality is dope in this book. Fulgrim doesn't seem like a guy that would be too bad to hang out with. I don't know, he's just kind of a bro. He's very patient, somewhat. He's very reasonable, and I really like listening to his stories about Chemos. Yeah, I think his stories about Chemos are really good, and how he kind of tries to Byzas, the planet that he's trying to bring into compliance, reminds him a lot of Chemos, that the people are going through the same thing. But I think the unfortunate part about the book is that while they seem the same, they're actually not the same. Byzas is political intrigue on top of political scheme, on top of generations of hatred, and it's a powder keg that's just waiting to blow. My favorite Fulgrim moment in the book was actually when he got together with his ops, and he was just telling them, like, I really would hope that we could do this peacefully, because I really could just snuff out your world like that. And they were just sort of like, why'd you come down here to threaten us? Like, you fucking monster, like, we're not intimidated by you. And he's just sort of like, well, here's the thing. I'm not trying to threaten you. I'm just telling you facts. My brothers are all warlords, and any of them would have came down here and would have bombed you guys into oblivion by now. I'm actually sitting down here having a conversation, so figure that. I just thought it was a really cool moment from Fulgrim. I like that from him. The book was good, though I will say that it was a little bit boring. It's not that I prefer action over talking, because I do like talking. It's just that I like when the dialogue means a lot more, and a lot of the dialogue in this book was just Fulgrim talking about why he wants the planet. If you know anything about Great Crusade Fulgrim, then this is largely what you would expect. And yes, he is a very capable commander, but at the same time, he's still showing that same arrogance and short-sightedness, which is going to help him fall to Slaanesh very soon. I must say, though, that the Grand Iterator, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. She's one of the best characters. In these Space Marine novels, usually the human point of view character is the best character, because they give us that good, like I said, they give us that point of view into the life of things that are barely human. The Space Marines, that is. So the Grand Iterator was a great character. I really like her back and forth with Fulgrim, and like her just how down to earth she actually was compared to the Emperor's children. The Emperor's children that he brought with him are actually a bit more interesting than Fulgrim. Not all of them. A few of them are basically just throwaway characters from the trilogy. 2 of them were just like shitlords who were acting the way you would expect an arrogant Emperor's children to act. Then you got Navo Quinn, who is actually one of my favorite characters from the 3rd book. He's here, and he's just as stoic as ever, but it is cool to watch him whoop a little bit of ass. Flavius Alcanex is here, and he's just as much of a shitbird as ever, but it was good to see how he had never really changed. And of course, my man Fabius motherfucking Bile here, Mr. Knight's coat. And before he even has his nice coat, he gets pulled out of the laboratory because Fulgrim wants him to socialize with his brothers a little bit. And while he's not really doing a good job of that, he does manage to get that mandatory promotion that he needed, because he was doing everything apothecary wise as just a regular apothecary, and he gets promoted to chief apothecary this book. So it's very interesting. And to be honest with you, he's a lot less of a character than he is in his novels, but it's still good to see my favorite character here. As far as the politics on the world goes, it's pretty much what you expect. The hereditary governor, and they're kind of incompetent, but they'll lay down, which is exactly what the Imperium's looking for. And on the other hand, the people who are about to take the planet anyway are kind of going against them and resisting. And at the end of the day, Fulgrim's plan, he does manage to bring the world into compliance, but he doesn't do it in that perfect way that he wanted to. And apparently human nature isn't as obvious to him as he thought it was. So while it was crazy that he was able to admit that he made mistakes and stuff like that, and perhaps he could grow stronger from that, this book did not paint him as more competent than Guilliman. The only example I have to go off of that is because in Dark Imperium, Guilliman ran up on his ass and was baited. That's a good example of Fulgrim being a better strategist than Guilliman, but he did do his thing. The action parts were cool. Seeing him do stuff was cool. His dialogue was cool. And seeing him be a badass Primarch was cool as fuck. But yeah, that's the book. I give it a 7. That was the video. I tried to make this one pretty quick because I didn't have that much to say about the book. Not to mention I really wanted to move on to Remnant Blade. I've got this policy that I don't start a new novel until I've made the review for the last one I read, so it stays fresh in my head. So this is Ave Dominus Noob saying Ave Dominus Nox.